Welcome everyone to the Public Speakers Association Virtual Summit for September. And we're really excited for the speakers that we have for you today. And so to get started, I want to introduce Tracy Repchuk. So Tracy has had 23 appearances in Forbes. She's a 9-time international best-selling author. Tracy's a renowned speaker in over 39 countries. And she is an award-winning entrepreneur, writer, and speaker, including awards from the Senate Assembly and the White House Presidential Award from President Obama. That's pretty impressive. Awesome. I want to hear about that. At the age of 19, she started a software company. She's been a pioneer on the internet since 1994. Tracy is an invited member to Amazon to be an Amazon influencer and LinkedIn advisor program. She has been a featured expert on over 22 national and local TV stations and networks, including ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS, and more. And she's been featured in 3 motivational movies. So I'm excited to turn the time over to Tracy Repchuk. Take it away.
All right. Well, thank you, Brian. I am super excited to be here, and I'm really excited about the topic that I'm going to be talking about today and the journey that I'm going to be taking you on. So welcome, everyone. Today, you are going to learn about ChatGPT and the fastest path to the cash. So in the short time that I have, we're going to cover the key to fast track your sales, what can make or break the results of your program, how to guarantee your success, and how to crush the competition. So as Brian said, I really don't need to say that much here. I've been 37 years as an entrepreneur, and really it's brought me to this moment of being able to share my experiences with you. Now, one thing I did discover, though, is that the only thing standing between you and your goals is having the right system to get you there. So I went in search of a new model to ensure that my clients could get there as rapidly as I did. And from that, I discovered the blueprint that you can follow to create a 6 or 7 freedom lifestyle business with just one thing that you know. That's the key right there. So imagine waking up to a text that says, hey, you've got money. Isn't that the dream? So it brings up the question, though, are you working for your business, or is your business working for you? Now, I understand that you might be thinking, marketing is super hard. I have no idea how to make money online. The technology is overwhelming, and you get caught on that hamster wheel. And really the list goes on and on. But as someone who has been on the internet since it began, I can tell you that 8 years ago, I discovered a better wheel to eliminate the obstacles and barriers that prevent you from achieving your goals. You see, that dollar per hour, the one-to-one, the one-to-many are great places to start. However, if your time is constantly part of the equation, then you're going to, at some point, burn out, exhaust, reach an income plateau, or be unable to truly move to a CEO position and create the freedom lifestyle that you've always dreamed of. So creating that program connected to your intellectual property is the most powerful income earner, because it's the thing that is truly unique to you. And it really allows you to systemize, streamline, and scale your business. This is the undercut that I discovered, and that is the route to freedom. And so say freedom in the chat if you are ready. Good. All righty. So after months of failed attempts, just one tweak changed everything for Elizabeth.
I became a member, and within 30 minutes, I made $1,000 and even more from the very first class that Tracy taught. I utilized what I learned in that class, turned around, and closed the deal.
So after testing extensively with clients, it allowed me to perfect a formula to help you make your dreams come true for that freedom lifestyle reality. Now, I'm going to show you how to build your business and your legacy with these 5 steps to create an online program guaranteed to sell. So it's know your target market, create an irresistible offer, market your course, deliver your program, and the 100K scale formula. So we'll go through each of these. So step 1 is the fast track to sales, and that is the identification of your target market. Now, who needs your skills and is willing to pay for them? You find your perfect tribe so that you can connect, communicate, cause them to buy, and consume what you deliver. Now, the second is the key that can make or break the results of your program. And that is creating an offer so irresistible that they say yes, simply from you showing it, not from you selling it. So here you want to understand that simple sells. Your offer needs to fit on that one sheet, have a maximum of 6 main steps, have those dropping bonuses that are like 10 times the value of the actual offer, and it's super simple and easy to understand. So my program template offer is so powerful that it can even take an existing program that you may have not sold as well as you had hoped and fix it.
And experiencing the training, Tracy Repchek's training on online programs, I took one of my programs and tweaked it based on her brilliance and put it out there to a handful of people, and they immediately committed, and that was like $2,000 just like that, and I hadn't even started to promote the program.
Okay, so step 3, this is now where we're going to market your offer using the spotlight versus the spray and pray approach. So this is how you guarantee your success. You sell it before you build it from the offer in step 2. And here you're going to leverage social media and create proof that your idea is needed and wanted simply by showing your offer to your target market. So this means going after your low-hanging fruit. So who do you know right now in your social media, your phone, your email contacts that needs the solution to the problem that you solve? Then you're going to reach out to them with a well-crafted text that makes them want to know more. And then launching your program is not as hard as you might think, because our goal from the formula that I have created is to sell only 10 people. This is the minimum, but 10 people at a price point of $297, giving you a rapid cash infusion of $2,970. And this gives you proof that it is needed and wanted. Plus, you're going to get paid to create this so that you can automate, streamline, and scale. Because this is kind of the starting point. This is kind of that, I'll call it like a loss leader, because this is just the beginning of the formula. In fact, Laura couldn't believe her rapid results.
Tracy Repchek, she taught how to create an online course. I created my online course with her. I sold 10 and I made $3,000.
And that was coming from a place where she didn't think she was going to be able to sell 10 because it was a new skill for her. Now, step 4 is to deliver your program. This is super simple now. Using Zoom technology and a step-by-step breakdown of your program, you'll do a weekly training call and you're going to create the content to streamline your knowledge. So the organization of your process allows others to benefit from what you know, and recording it allows you to preserve your legacy for mass distribution. In fact, this part is so easy, you can't believe you're getting paid to create your course. Now, here is where the rubber meets the road. This is step 5, my unique scale formula. This is where all the benefits start to unfold. This is the 6-figure and beyond formula. So it automatically builds an integrated marketing funnel that feeds itself. This is why it works so beautifully. So from the launch phase where you sold those 10 or more, you can definitely sell more if you'd like, you will start to ascend. Then you're going to establish your authority. Then you're going to move into that income overdrive by adding more automation and more traffic. And then you're going to scale without adding any more work. In fact, from a piece of paper, Chelsea changed her income goals forever.
Hi there, I'm Chelsea Croft. Could not be more excited and thrilled at the results that I've seen in only 3 weeks of working with her. To take a step back, I actually interviewed 7 different coaches before I decided to move forward with Tracy. And Tracy was the only person out of the 7 coaches that I interviewed that I really felt took the time to actually do an audit of who is Chelsea, what is Chelsea all about, and what does Chelsea have coming up. On our first discovery call, and within 3 weeks, we had my landing page up, my first program created, and my presentation established to seed plant the program at that platform event. Well, 3 weeks later, not only did I receive a return on my investment, but I also had a lovely, lovely profit. If you have the opportunity to dive in with Tracy, it's the best dive you're ever gonna take.
And this is the power of an irresistible offer. Imagine getting that from just a 60-minute presentation. And that didn't include what she added over the next 2 weeks to a total of almost $40,000 before she even started her live course. So how do you crush the competition? You leverage marketing advantage of ChatGPT. Now, many of you probably have heard this now, but ChatGPT is officially the fastest growing product of all time with 100 million users in just over 2 months. And if you're not a marketing genius, copywriting guru, or really have that time to be a constant content creator, then you're going to love this new technology. So prompts provide you with a jump start on the market while you slash hours off your time spent creating copy for marketing, promotions, content courses, videos, scripts, and programs in your business. And in fact, this new tool saves time, automates tasks, and makes your life easy. In fact, when you combine a money-making formula with the power of ChatGPT, this can truly catapult your results, making 7 days an average, not an exception, to where you can make some really good money. Now, knowing the prompt unlocks the key to everything that you need. So let's say we were doing a prompt for getting our target market. So we would say target market who are seeking to know how to become a result of your program and is looking for help to take them from where they are to that end result. So where they want to be. This is how you're going to really start to move the results further for you. This can create that customer avatar that used to take weeks to build. Now you can rapidly get that customer transformation from a ChatGPT. You can transform your social media. You're simply putting in these prompts that can make a world of difference. And with this integration, we now have what we need to overcome the biggest barriers of course creation. And that is the content you need to really kind of plan and sell your online course. And in our situation now, we can take all of the prompt systems that are out there and we can create what we need in a mere 3.96 seconds for the results of the phase 1 and 2 of my particular program. What's great though is with this blueprint, it eliminates complicated launches. You don't need a big list or any list at all. You don't need a master website. That means anyone can do this. And it actually can save you like $35,000 in a year of your time simply by doing this, what I call kind of quantum leap requires. So say me in the chat if you would like to have a copy of that formula. And to get that, you're really going to go to quantumleaptoday.com/ChatGPT. I'm just looking in the chat, making sure everyone's saying yes, yes, and saying me. And here you're going to grab my free guide of 75 prompts to jumpstart your business. Everything from product promotion, Facebook ad formulas, to advanced podcast marketing strategies. I've actually now written over 40 guides that go with the ChatGPT technology for everything kind of from affiliate marketing all the way to whatever you need, customer service. But here is where you can really break away from the pack. So I do about 5 income accelerator calls a week to see and help you get rapidly from where you are to where you want to go and assess what your goals are and what is the fastest path to get you there. So after you grab your free gift, if there is a call link there, that means I still have appointments left for the week. And so if anyone is listening to this and you would like to book a session with me, I'm happy to go over that. And if it does happen to be full, then just DM me on any social media platform at Tracy Repchuk, and I'll see about opening more slots for this community. Because really my goal is to help you achieve financial freedom, but it's up to you to take that first step. So type me in the chat if you're going to book a call, and I can get a feel for if I need to open more slots. And other than that, this has been my time, and I look forward to our continued journey together and enjoy the rest of the summit.
Does anyone have questions for Tracy? No one? So Tracy, you put up something, you said all this can be done in 3.96 seconds. I'm assuming that that was a joke.
No,
Or there's something
so-
special about 3.96 seconds?
yes. So in phase one of my program, you need to generate things like the course outline. You want to generate, presentation pieces, promo pieces. You want to get layouts for various items, right? Well, I've created all of these prompt engineered systems that you put in what you need in one sentence. And of course I have those all built, and boom, it shoots the entire thing out, your entire course outline. It shoots out your 20 screen webinar presentation. It shoots out all of these pieces in 3.96 seconds. Now, of course, you have to go back and tweak and perfect it and create that irresistible offer from the content and etc. But the barrier used to be getting that marketing material, getting the ideas and the inspiration and the content to promote. That's all gone now. And that's, of course, the magic of ChatGPT. All righty, great to see some people are going to be booking calls. I look forward to talking to you.
Any other questions?
Tracy, is this the link to book the calls? It just took us to the page to sign up.
Yes, that's the quantumleaptoday.com/chatgpt should get you to the opt-in to grab the free gift. Once you do that, you can book a call.
Thank you.
If you choose, yeah. Okay. Looks like we got them what they needed, Brian.
All right. Let's see. I'm not seeing our next speaker. Is she? Oh. Vanessa, are you back on? You need to unmute.
Yes, it should show iPad 83 instead of my name.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So we will move on to our next speaker, and so we're happy to have Manassa Gavin as our next speaker. Her name is, she is a mindfulness speaker, consultant, and trainer. Hailing from California, but embracing the charm of Memphis, Tennessee, Manassa Gavin is your go-to expert in mindfulness. As a passionate speaker, consultant, and trainer, Manassa has dedicated her life to helping individuals discover the transformative power of mindfulness. When she's not on the road sharing her insights and wisdom, Manassa enjoys precious moments with her beloved wife. Her love for excellent food is evident in her culinary adventures, and she relishes every opportunity to unwind in the comfort of her cherished, comfy chair. All right, so let's turn the virtual stage over to Manassa. Take it away.
Well, thank you. And Brian, I sent you my PowerPoint. I was just having some real struggles with my laptop. And so I have a beautiful PowerPoint prepared, but we may just have to do it old school. And so let me see if I can share my content. Oh, can you make me a co-host again on this, on my iPad, please? And I appreciate all of your patience. I was here with my laptop. I had to run and get my iPad. And, or Brian, you have my PowerPoint, and maybe you can share it along with me, but I'm not going to delay any longer. My name is Manasa Gabon, and I am a mindfulness expert. And what I do is I help corporate leaders better manage their stress. Now, who would like to be able to better manage their stress? Just hit up in the comments saying me, or how can I do that? And that's what we're going to talk about today. And so before I get started, I'm going to ask you to join me in a mindful breath. So let's just take a breath in and out. Well, welcome to my TED Talk on mindfulness. Thank you very much. Now, I'm just kidding, but in some ways I'm not. That the best way to manage your stress is to begin with your breath. And so my presentation today, let's see if I've got my capacity to share my screen. Here we go. We're just going to do without it. My presentation today is called, my presentation today is called Manage Your Stress, Take a Breath. And so today we're going to learn 3 mindful techniques. The first one is we're going to take 3 mindful breaths. We're going to do the body scan. And if we have time, we will do some mindful movement. And so everyone breathe. You say, I don't need for you to teach me how to breathe. Well, most people only use about 20% of the capacity of their lungs. And so when we do a mindful breath, this is again coming into the present moment and taking time to say, whatever has got me in 5,000 places, you can, I see someone wants to share my screen, but I don't know how to get you my, here we go. Here we go. This is beautiful. Thank you so very much. Okay, Brian, can you start the PowerPoint? And thank you so much, everyone, for your patience. You know, I try not to rely on my boomerness, but I'm a boomer. My daughter's in her room next door, and she can't come here to help me. So we'll take it as it is. So we want to go to where it says inhale, exhale. And I'm going to keep going. There, I see Brian. I'm going to keep going. We're going to talk about, I did want to tell you that the purpose of today's time is to give you some information, some inspiration, and then to help you have a more transformative experience or response when you are stressed out. And so we're going to do what's called a yogic breath. As I said before, there we go. So I do want to take the time to thank Brian and the Public Speakers Association for giving me this chance to speak today. How about we go to the next slide? And I help corporate leaders manage their stress. That's what I do. Okay, next slide. And thank you, Brian. I appreciate you. So manage your stress. Next slide. Is as simple as taking a breath. And that's what we're going to talk about today. Next slide, please. So let's take an inhale and exhale. So inhale and out. And see how just in that simple moment, you were here, you were present, and you were able to move forward from that space. Next slide, please. And so our focus of the day is going to be mindful breathing. Techniques that help you manage your stress. All right, our next slide. And again, this is for some information, some inspiration, and that you can transform your stressful experiences into peace, calm, and mindful ways of being. Our next slide, please. So we're going to do 3 mindful breaths. So as I said before, most people breathe from the top of their lungs. And so that's not where your breath is. Your breath is in your stomach. And so I'm going to invite all of us to put our hands on our stomach and to feel. Now, I know for women, we're supposed to suck our stomach in, and our guys, keep your guts under control. But this is not the time to try to be all Hollywood and gorgeous and perfect, because you're that already. But let's just put our hands on our stomachs and fill up our diaphragm with air. We're going to breathe in and then out. Okay, so you see how I made a loud sound? We want to push that air out. Let's breathe in again. Hands on your stomach. Let's breathe in and out. And one last time, let us breathe in and out. And I think from those 3 mindful breaths, you'll feel like, wow, I feel really relaxed, or I feel very calm right now. That is the simple capacity that in the middle of a meeting, you can just breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out and get your focus. Before you have to make that phone call, which might be kind of stressful for you at work, or call someone in your family, or, with the holidays coming up, people can get very stressed out. This is a very simple technique. 3 mindful breaths, filling up your diaphragm with air and then releasing. So in the meeting, you're not going to go, because they might think something's going on, but you can just, All right, our next slide. So right now we're going to do a technique that's called the body scan. And this is a way to become mindful of where you are, what is happening, so that stress is a normal, natural reaction or normal, natural body response. It's how we respond that either escalates the stress or de-escalates. And so the body scan is a way to become centered. So I'm going to invite you to just really feel your seat, your bottom in the seat, feel your feet on the ground, and become present to your feet, your ankles, your calves, your knees. Become present to your thighs and your bottom in the chair, the core of your body, your shoulders. Let's just lift them up and drop them down. Become present to your hands, your wrist, your lower arm, your elbow, your upper arm, back to your shoulders, your throat, and your neck. Let's turn your head left and right, up and down. Taking a breath in and out. And in this moment again, you're feeling more peaceful, you're feeling more present. And then from this space, you can act or proact versus respond from the stressful stimuli. Can we go to our next slide? Let's talk about some resources. Our next slide. So one great mindful resource is my YouTube channel, Manasa Wellness. Every day I do a it's called Mindful Mornings with Manasa. It's about 3 to 5 minutes. This whole process, my whole page is being redone in October 1st. We're going to come back in a new way, but you can subscribe now and begin your day in a mindful way. All right, our next slide. This is an amazing book. If you like books, you can get a hard copy or a ebook. The Miracle of Mindfulness by Thich Nhat Hanh. The gentleness, the loving spirit of this man, even though he has passed on, comes through in this book. And he gives some very practical ways to bring mindfulness into your everyday activities. And then the next slide is our last resource. And this is a book called Unwind by Michael Olpen and Sam Bracken. And what I like about this is that this encourages you to begin your mindfulness from the inside out. That how you and I are on the inside is what will be reflected on the outside. And the best way for us to live a mindful life is to choose to turn within, starting with the breath. And so that's the end of my presentation. I thank you all for your patience while we got this. My PowerPoint worked out, Brian. Thank you. You were an amazing assistant. And are there any questions?
So I just have a comment.
Yes.
And that is, as I was stressing out trying to figure out how to open your PowerPoint, and you were talking about taking deep breaths, it did help a lot for me to take a deep breath and just relax, and everything will take care of itself.
Indeed. Begins with the breath.
What made you get started in this?
Well, I had to change my whole life. I had been a pastor, and one day I just thought, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not serving the way that I want. I don't feel connected to spirit anymore. And I literally just walked away. And I thought, what do I do now? And so I needed to reconnect with my spirituality and with my true self. And I read a book by Abraham Hicks called Ask and You Shall Receive. And it talked about taking 10 minutes a day to be quiet. And starting with that 10 minutes, it transformed my life. And I understood now that stress is outside of me, but I can be calm and connected by turning within. And I saw the difference that it had in my life and in the lives of those that I shared it with. And now in a world where stress is rampant, the cause of many medical challenges, I want to bring that light of mindfulness so that others can be living their best life like I am today. And that's a great question. Thank you.
Thank you for that answer.
Anyone else? All right, if there's no one else with a question, we can just move on to our next speaker, if that's all right with him. We're a little bit early, but I guess that's okay. Early is better than late, right? So our next speaker is Victor Lopez. He's a painter, promoter of peace and happiness. Victor Lopez may be known as a painter, but his true mission is to foster peace and happiness in a world often marred by disagreements and hostility. He firmly believes in the timeless wisdom of united we stand, divided we fall. Victor recognizes that our uniqueness lies in our ability to coexist despite differences. He champions listening over anger and peaceful resolutions over hate. Victor's philosophy is built on three core values: humility, respect, and loyalty. He envisions a world where these principles lead us to happiness and tranquility. At just 35 years old, Victor Lopez is ready to share his common sense wisdom with the world, reminding us of the simple truths we often overlook. All right, so it is my pleasure to welcome Victor Lopez to our virtual stage. Victor, it's all yours. Oh, you need to unmute.
Sorry about that. Thank you, Brian. I just want to tell you guys that I just want to tell you a little bit about myself, because today is my speaking debut. So yes, I am a little bit nervous. So I want to thank Manasa as well for helping me get through this a little bit with the inhaling, exhaling. Helped a lot. So I was born and raised here in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. I'm 35 years old. And as right now, like Brian just told you, my profession is a painter. However, my true passion was always to get outside and getting along with everybody, getting to meet people. It always inspired me. Me being a people's person, always drive me to, keep going out and meeting people. And then that's when I got to see, okay, what about motivational speaker? I started thinking, I can see myself being a motivational speaker. Then I moved on. Sorry, I'm a little nervous right now. Of course, like I said, it's my first time, but it's okay. We'll get through it. So saying that I was going to be a motivational speaker, it was tough at first because I didn't know. I had to ask myself, could I do it? Will I make it? And then I said, you know what? I can do this. So, I got excited, got all happy. And what's the first thing you usually do when you get happy and you get excited? You go and you start telling your friends, start telling close people around you that. I went up to them and said, hey, I am going to be a motivational speaker. And the response I got from them wasn't what I thought I was going to get, right? They're all telling me, nah, Vic, you're not going to be a motivational speaker. Nah, Vic, what are you going to motivate people about? You know what? It's probably just a phase. That's what they were telling me. And at first I looked, I was kind of confused. Wasn't the answer I was looking for. And then I know most people will tell you, most people will say, well, maybe those aren't your friends. Maybe you should get new friends. But you got to remember, these are friends that I've had from as little as 5 years to friends I've had over 25 years. So it's a long time. With my back's been on the wall, they help me get out. Whenever I fall, they pick me back up. When I've lost close people around me, they were there to comfort me. So just to replace them for that, I couldn't do it. And problem is also, I see good friendships of people that have had friends for over 10 years end, right? They've had friends for 10 years and I see them, relationships done over a silly argument or over somebody not agreeing with the other. So instead of doing that, I said, it's okay. I'm gonna make them believe me now. I'm gonna put this as my fuel. I'm gonna push myself forward. And that's what I did. So when I joined the Speakers Association and I got the chance to come out and speak today, I went up to them. I told them, hey guys, look what I got. I'm gonna be speaking on September 14th. And they just gave me the simple, oh, no way. Ha ha ha, you did it. Okay, you did it. And then that's when I looked at them and told them, you have to promise me one thing. I told them, promise me one thing. The next person who comes to you and gives you an idea, even if you think it's wild or you think it's crazy, I told them, you have to give them belief. Always be positive with them. Even if you don't believe it, you got to tell them yes. And I'll tell you why. I was lucky that that I have a very strong mind, that even if you don't believe in me, I could push forward, right? I'm not going to let somebody tell me you're not going to do it and I'm just going to stop. No, I got to feel for myself in order for me to believe that. But you have to remember, not everybody thinks the same way. And that's the problem. A lot of us don't have that same kind of mind state, right? Somebody can come up to you with almost a brilliant idea, almost genius. But the second you tell them, no, you're not going to do it, it's gone. They won't even try it again. And I think the same thing for when either a child or a teenager comes up to me with telling me, oh, hey, Vic. And I go, yeah, what's up? They go, oh, I want to be either, they tell me something here, an actor, a comedian, a comedian. They tell me maybe a professional athlete. And because social media is so hyped today, right? So high, they tell me they want to be the next YouTuber, maybe the next Mr. Beast, they tell me. And I always want to keep them positive. I tell them, okay, I can see it. I see it. Okay. But I always tell them, you got to work with me on something. And always they'll be like, okay, what's that? And I tell them, you got to give me a plan B. Always tell them, you got to give me a plan B. And they always go, what do you mean by plan B? I told them, let's work on something else as well for a backup plan. And now right away they'll look at me, okay, but why do I need a backup plan? And again, I always tell you, it's important to be positive, not tell them, oh, because there's a million people that want to do what you want to do and maybe you won't make it. No, I stay positive. So what I tell them is simple. I go, well, you never know. Maybe 5 years down the road, you're not going to find that working in movies was as fun as you thought it would be. Or maybe that you won't have love for the game of basketball, for example. So I always tell them that's why it was important to have a plan B. And so far, always they look back at me and they say, you know what? You're right. Okay, I'm gonna get back to you with my plan B. So I always tell them, okay, awesome, that's awesome. And another thing that does is that builds them confidence that whenever they have something big happening or they need to let something off of their chest, they'll come back to you because they're going to like the way you handle their situation, right? And this brings me now to why we're specifically here today. I feel the world. It's so easy for people to be jealous, for people to be envious. Problem is when you mix these two things, it creates anger in you. When you get anger in you, that generates hate. Now, when we add all these four things, what does it do? It divides us, right? Makes everybody turn against each other. So it's making us divide. And it's too easy for the world to get that, but not to be like this. You should have three traits in you. You should always be humble. You be respectful. You stay loyal. Put those three things together. It's going to bring you farther in life, a lot farther in life than you ever thought you would get. It's going to make people respect you. It's going to make people love you. There's no better feeling than when people accept you, when people love you. And I know for some, they tell you, oh, I don't care for that. They tell me I don't care for that. But maybe it's because you've never been loved, right? Maybe you never felt, because you never showed these things, that maybe that's why you don't feel people accept you. But I have people that I haven't seen in 10 to 15 years. And when I run into them, the smiles, the hugs, oh, hey, Vic, I hope everything's good. There's no better feeling than getting that, right? So when I say that we're very negative in the world, it happens a lot. It happens a lot in these two places. And these two places is the places that we spend more than we were just at home. It happens when you're either at work or you go to school, right? Work and school is where you go majority of the time, most of the time, if you're not at home. You're either going out to make a living or you're going out to get your education. So we're going to start off with work. I feel that every human being deserves to feel wanted, to feel happy, to feel the joy when they go to work every day. That's for me, that's the first thing. You're supposed to feel that joy. There's no reason why you should go to work sad. There's no reason why you shouldn't want to go to work because you feel that people are rude to you or that you don't feel accepted there. When in reality is, the reality is that's how a lot of people feel. I hear about it all the time. So I ask you, I ask everybody, how do you make people feel when you go to work? Do you go up to them and say a simple hello, good morning, how are you? You gotta remember those three little things can change somebody's day right away, right off the bat. Somebody's having a bad morning, someone's not feeling the best, someone's sad. A simple, hey, how are you? Good. The fact that you acknowledge them is gonna help them out right there. So it's important that we show our respect to everybody, that we show that we care. And then the jealousy and envy at work happens very easy. I'll give you an example. So you have Vic and then you have Mike. Okay, they both work at the Toyota dealership, right? It's September 14th today. It's almost halfway through the month. You look at Mike. Mike's having an amazing first half of the month, selling lots of cars, making commission. You know, he's walking around the dealership, head up, all happy. His coworkers see it. They come up to him. Oh yes, Mike, you're doing great. You're doing amazing. The boss is loving him because obviously he's doing good for the company, right? Turn your attention over to Vic. Now Vic hasn't sold nothing this month, really, right? He's having a bad month. He's in a slump. We'll say he's in a slump. Nothing's going well for him. He's feeling down. He's starting to get annoyed a little bit because he sees all the attention going to Mike this, Mike that, and then he's wondering why is Mike doing so good and I'm not. Problem is right now, he's starting to feel a little bit of jealousy in him, right? He's looking at Mike with a little bit of jealousy. Now, the thing that happens when you go to work and you feel like that is that jealousy is turning into anger. That anger is all happening while you were still working, right? Right now, you're just in a slump. But when you turn all those negative vibes, what's going to happen next? Next thing that's going to happen is when a next client comes in and you have a pitch, right? When you have to work on your certain game in order to get the next client to come in. But that's all going to be gone because you're already built with too much anger. You're not going to be ready for that next client when they come in. So when that next client comes in, you're completely off. Like, chances are your slump is going to continue. So instead of feeling like that, you got to stay, remember, you have to stay respectful. Somehow, some way, you got to eat it inside, but you got to stay respectful and tell them, hey, Mike, good job. You're doing great, pal. Good job. And now you showed him respect. That's a good thing. You should feel up. And you got to tell yourself, I'm just in a slump. I can do this. I'm going to do good. I've sold cars before. Why can't I sell the next one? And at least when the next person comes down, you're going to feel that still. You're going to feel that power. I need to get out of this. I can sell it. And I guarantee you, if it's not the next one, and even if it's not the one after, you will get out of it. Now, let's turn our attention over to Mike. Mike, everybody's loving Mike, right? But Mike also knows what's happening with his other coworkers. So now it's on Mike to stay humble. You have to stay humble. Remember that. No matter what you're doing in life, you must be humble. So Mike can easily go to Vic and be like, hey, Vic, don't you worry. You're just in a slump. You're gonna get out of it. I feel it 100%. Just do what you do. I promise you, the next person that comes in, you're gonna get out. And now look what just happened. In those 60 seconds, Mike went out of his way to show Vic some love, to give Vic some courage. Now Vic sees Mike coming to him. He's gonna remember. Oh, look, he still cares about me. He still wants me, right? Now he's gonna push. Now he's gonna push his hardest to go out and do that as well. And once he sells the car, though, Mike should come right back to him and be like, Vic, what did I tell you? I told you you can do it. I told you you had it. I told you you did it. Now what that's gonna do, it's gonna create a good environment. That's a very good environment. Everybody's on the same team. Right? Everybody at work feels it with each other now. When you have a good team, when you have a good work environment, what does that do? That creates better workers, happy workers. Happy workers creates better results. 100%. When everybody's on the same team and everybody feels good about themselves, you're going to perform better. You're going to have better results. Better results is, what does that give you? It gives you a happy boss, right? You're making money for the boss now. The company's making money. The boss is happy. A happy boss equals a win-win situation, no matter what, at the end of the day. All positivity, it's all going to go up. Now I put my attention to the boss. Now we look at the boss. The boss sees Mike. He gave him his courage. He gave him his credit, told him you're doing good, you're doing great, right? But now he has to acknowledge the rest of his employees as well. He's got to go to Vic and have a little talk with Vic too. He has to be able to motivate him as well. They're all working for you. They're all working their tail off for you at the end of the day. So as a boss, you got to stay humble as well. You got to be able to help too. And it's a big part that's missing, but it's so easy how we can fix it. End of the day, and one thing in life was simple. It doesn't matter if you have $1 million to your name or if you got $1 to your name. The beauty of life is we're all equal. We're all the same. Money is just money. But the happiness in one is a complete other thing. Now I'm going to focus the attention to school. What's one thing that we always push everybody to do, that whether you're in college, university, high school, elementary, doesn't matter. Education, education, education. Go get your education. That's the first thing we do. That's what we push the hardest. But do you have any idea how hard it is on children, for example, right? Teenagers, young adults. If you're going to school and you don't feel appreciated and you don't feel wanted, do you know how hard that is for you to wake up and want to go to school? And yet we're still the ones pushing. So if you're in college or university and you're listening to this, I ask you, what do you do? How do you go to school? What do you do at school to make everybody feel wanted, to make everybody feel comfortable? Right? Comfortable is a big word. And then if you have children who go to school, I want you to ask your children, what do you do when you go to school to make everybody feel welcome, to make the other children feel like they belong there? And because it's so easy for us to ask it, and we always think like, oh, no, it's not our kids that do that. It's not our kids. But if it wasn't nobody's kids, I'm not saying it is your kids, but I'm saying if it wasn't nobody's kids, then schools would be perfect. But they're far from that. So I try to push it on them that, You know, if you're gonna be at a school and you're gonna see each other more often than not, right? You see each other more, or just as much as you're gonna see almost your family. You're just home just a little bit more, but you have to push yourselves, push them to be better. Teach them from young to be humble, to have respect, to be loyal. Time they finish school, if they take those 3 traits, getting out of school, they're gonna go farther than you can imagine. They're gonna be loved. People are gonna want them from there. Right? And then from there, where's the next place we spend most of our time in life? We spend most of our time at home. Home. And it's at home where we're supposed to feel. When you get home, you're supposed to feel peaceful, feel relief. I got home. Look, it was just last Monday. Last Monday, I was working outside doing exterior painting. It's plus 40 outside. Hot. Imagine all the sweat coming down, and we had to work outside the next day, and I was working with the buddy, and we're looking at each other, man, how are we gonna do this tomorrow? And we laugh. I go home. But the second I go home, and I feel like everybody needs to be like this, the second you're about to open your door, anything that bugs you, whatever's on your shoulders, whatever bugs you before you come in that door, you're supposed to be able to drop it because you're at home now. We're home. Who cares about what's gonna happen tomorrow? Or who cares about what just came? You're supposed to feel relieved. At the end of the day, I believe that every human deserves to be happy and at peace at least twice every day. One, when you go to sleep. When you go to sleep, you should be able to put your mind off, right? Close your mind. Be at peace when you're going to sleep. Nothing should distract you. You should finally get some rest. And then when you wake up, it's a blessing. You should count that as a blessing. We're still alive. How many people do we wish were still alive today? So you should always feel grateful for those 2 things. The sad thing is, it's not like that for everyone. So I come to a point now where it's ask why. You know, why when we're at home do we not feel like that? Now, there's a lot of reasons, but I only got so much time, so I'm going to stick to the most common one that I hear. It's usually about your spouse or your partner. So when things ain't going that good at home, you got to ask yourself, how can we work on this, right? First thing you know, there's ever a problem, there should always be a way maybe to fix it. So you always got to try by fixing it. You guys talk it out. Do you talk it out? If the talking's not working, do you go get some therapy, right? You go to a couples counseling. And if that's still not working, you got to figure out, okay, so what do we do? Is it time to end it? And ending something is very scary, and I understand that, especially when you've been with the person for X amount of years. It's not easy to restart. You look at life today, everything's so expensive. Life is very expensive, so you start to wonder, how am I going to afford to be on my own, right? If you have kids, there's 2. There's the ones with kids and there's the one without kids. So we'll go with the ones without kids first. So you go. So without the children, you go, okay, why? What's so scary? You gotta ask yourself, what is so scary? Why am I scared? Am I scared because I feel that I can't afford to be alone? That's when you ask yourself, okay, no, that's no problem. It's all right. But you gotta be able to set some goals. Figure out what you would need to make so you can live alone. Will you have to downgrade? Yes, most likely. Will you have to live alone possibly? Yes, that's another possibility. But at the end, I'm telling you, it's going to be better than living at home in sadness, right? Always fighting with your pair. That's not healthy. That's not good for your own heart. So you got to be able to move. And then you hear also one saying, well, am I ever going to be able to meet somebody? Am I ever going to be able to meet? Am I ever going to find a soulmate? And I promise you one thing. If you think it's not easy to meet, look, there's thousands of dating sites today, thousands of dating sites. where it's already a head start on how to meet somebody. And I'm telling you, if you stay humble, you stay loyal, you show respect, people are going to be drawn to you right away. If they can see that everything you're saying is real, people will be drawn to you for sure. So being afraid of being alone, no. Will you be alone for a year? Possibly. 2 years? Realistic. But guess what? In those 2 years, you'll find yourself. You're going to find yourself. You'll still be at peace. You will still feel happy. So if the relationship's not working, and you know it's not, it's always constant fighting, constant war. It's just better to be out. I promise you that. Now, if you have children, of course it gets harder, right? It's all about the kids. You both want to be there for your children. But the problem is constantly fighting and fighting and fighting. Your kids are going to see that. And if they're young right now, they're still going to grow up to see it. They're going to get older, they're going to start to see it. And they don't want to see their parents yelling all the time, right? 100% no. So you got to ask yourself again, can we get through this? If you can't, then it's time. It's time to go different ways. But remember, if you do split, you have to remember everything for your kids. Every child needs their mother and father. I don't care how bad it ends. You have to be fair. You got to be able to let both of you see your kids at the same time, right? You have to be respectful to each other still. Be able to still somehow live in peace. Still trying to be at least a little bit of friends. Not saying be best friends, but still be friends. When it's your child's birthday, you should both still be able to be in the house at the same time. At the same time. Okay? And so those are little things. Again, Brian, I want to thank you today for having me. And before I go, I have a little challenge for everybody here right now. I have one little challenge. My challenge is simple. The way we're all brought in here today, all smiling, all here to support each other, right? I want you to take the same vibe that we have today, the same vibe that we have right now. I want you to bring it outside with you. I want you to take this same energy that we have, and the second you step out of your home or out of the office or out of wherever you are, I want you to share this energy with the rest of the world. Share it with people that you don't know, just by a simple hello. How are you? Hope you have a blessed day today. You see somebody struggling to open a door, hold the door open for them. Because at the end, like I say, united we stand, divided we fall. It's time to unite the world, everybody. Thank you so much. And does anyone have any questions? Thank you. Thank you.
Good job, Victor.
I appreciate the love, everybody. Thank you so much. I was nervous at the beginning, but like I said, it was my speaking debut. So if I'm not nervous, then that means I wouldn't love what I'm doing right now. So it helped me. I got those butterflies out.
Good job.
Thank you.
Nice haircut.
So I just want to say that, Victor, you're a great example of what we want in the Public Speakers Association. And that is that we want speakers of all abilities. I mean, people who have been speaking for 20 years or someone who's giving their inaugural speech. So this is great because that's what this is all about, is getting together for us to learn from one another. And there's lots of people here that I can see in the chat are here supporting you. So this is awesome. This is great. I love it. Yeah, so it's about time for our next speakers. We have the next speaker is actually two speakers. So I want to introduce Sharon and Hank Uloff. They are small business coaches, best-selling authors, and podcast hosts. So meet Sharon and Hank, the dynamic duo dedicated to helping businesses thrive. As small business coaches and authors of 7 bestsellers. They've honed their expertise. They host impactful small business breakthrough boot camps and share their insights on the Marketing Checklist podcast. Focused on marketing, sales, public speaking, and human resources. They tackle the areas where business owners struggle. And I think this is going to be fun to have the two of them speaking to us. I don't know how I would be able to do this with my wife. I don't know how well it would come off. So I'm looking forward. I've never tried.
What's the challenge here, Brian?
She's a school teacher and she's comfortable in front of a class, but I don't know how well she would do here. So anyway, we'll turn it over to Hank and Sharon.
Hey, I'm a former school teacher as well, so I know what it's like to stand in front of the class.
Hey, while Sharon's getting that up, Victor Lopez, let's hear it again for Victor. Victor, I am honored to be able to hear and witness your first presentation. We're going to look back 2 years, 5 years, 10 years from now, and y'all will see him on a stage and you're going to say, oh my God, look at the growth. This is amazing. I am so proud of you. We've had coaching clients that I wish to God they would take that step and they never did. And so Victor, well done, man. Glad to have you up there.
For sure.
Glad to share a stage with you. All right, folks. We're going to talk about perfecting your elevator story for sales, or as we like to call it, how not to lose that sale in 30 seconds. Because everything you do to market your business has a message attached to it. When you're doing an email marketing, when you are putting ads out, when you're writing a book, when you are doing promotional products, there is all some version of your elevator pitch. It starts here. So now the question is, when somebody asks you what you do, now Victor mentioned this in his talk. You know, he's told his friends, I'm going to be a motivational speaker. And they were this close to laughing. But he kept it together. Said, you know what? This is how it works. This is how it's going to be. So you want to be able, when somebody say, what do? You don't go into, oh my God, I have to go into sales mode. Because all you're really doing, marketing, is getting people to raise their hand and say, I'm interested. And then the sales process begins after you've given them enough information that they want to do that. So what we want you to do is figure out if there's a way for your elevator pitch to give somebody some chills or make them want to raise their hand. And that's what we're going to talk about today. All right. So what we're going to talk about, some things you're guaranteed to make your elevator stories better.
4 things.
4. Now, we do a longer version of this. If y'all want to see the full hour version of this, reach out to us. You're in the lower left-hand corner of almost every slide. You're going to see a URL, which is how you connect with us. We're going to give you 2 awesome elevator stories. We actually have 5, but you're getting 2 of them. And we're going to give you some help at the end. It's our goal to finish so that some of you get a chance to do an elevator pitch. Oh my God, you get to present to the class. A little about us. We were voted America's #1 coaching team for small business marketing.
We turn entrepreneurs into instantly profitable entrepreneurs, even during COVID.
Oh my gosh, yes. We had 3 clients start businesses in the first quarter of COVID, including a printer. Can you imagine printing? And they're still active and they're all profitable.
We are the authors of 7 best-selling business books. Our 8th one is coming out in just a few weeks.
In fact, the thing I just checked before we came on, the URL that goes to our page on Amazon, it's actually working. So we're going to go into pre-sale mode. Not that I would tell you to go to overwhelmedandoverthinking.com. I would never tell you to do that, but it is active. And we coach business owners. We want to remind you that you started a business to make it serve your life, and quite often you get into the point where your life serves your business, and that's really not the way it should work.
Good stuff.
Yep. And today we're going to talk about, we're going to bring it down to how your elevator stories are going to make your business better. Oh, I forgot I had one more slide. Yeah, we do a small business breakthrough boot camp a couple times a year. We're going to give that. In fact, we're doing it in September. We'll talk about that for a second. All right. One of the most important things you're going to learn today. It's the basic building block for everything you're going to learn today. So if you're taking notes, now's when you start. If you saw this on Facebook, how would you answer it? Now, most people, they will put what?
You'll just give your answer, right? Motivational speaker, business coach, financial planner, right? And that allows those folks that are viewing it to put you in whatever little box it is that they have for motivational speaker, business coach, or financial advisor.
I mean, if you say, I help people create online plans, okay, well, whatever somebody's preconceived notion of that is, it allows them to do it. I'm a motivational speaker. Well, like who? And it allows them to think, all right, how do I relate to it? And it isn't their fault. We are taught, and our brain works this way. It wants to get to the simplest, easiest result as quickly as possible. But the fact is, how well you create your pitch determines if your prospects are going to pay attention and consume it or not. All right, 4 things that are going to make your elevator pitch, your elevator speech better. First, did you know that hello, my name is killing your business? That sucks, because if we came off camera here and said, all right, do your elevator pitch, we know you would all start with, hi, my name is, and you go from there. The challenge is our subconscious is trying to not pay attention. Here's the thing. If you've ever been in the shower and you've had a really good idea, or you've been driving and you had a really good idea and you missed your exit, and you wondered where it came from or what happened, well, your subconscious is like, well, I've driven to the store 72,000 times. I don't need to be here for this. Or I've washed, this guy has washed his hair a bunch of times. I don't need to be here for this. And it trots on down the hall and does other stuff that's for the good of your brain and your body. So when one person after another says, hi, my name is, oh, I don't need to be here for this. So you need to do it differently.
Besides, this is why no one remembers your name, right? They keep hearing, hi, my name is, and they tune out, and then you wonder, how come no one remembers their name? Or why you can't remember anyone else's name.
Yeah.
Why?
Now, for those of you that are taking notes, what do you do instead? Thanks for asking. You want to start with a statement, a quote, or my favorite is a question. Here's why. What color are your eyes? What color is your car? What was your favorite pet's name? Who did you have as your teacher in 6th grade? What did you have for breakfast? Did you answer all these questions? Do you wish I'd stop asking questions? See, the human mind cannot not answer a question. So if you start with it, you're going to bring people immediately to pay attention. Now, you always need a call to action, or if you're doing it in person, a raffle prize is great. Tell them at the end of your elevator pitch what to do next. Most of the time, it's my information will be in the chat.
If it's a Zoom. Mm-hmm. If you're in person, then by all means, see me afterwards. Let's exchange business cards.
Now, what shouldn't they give as a call to action or raffle?
So the things to not do as a raffle prize is not a bottle of wine, unless you're a winery, not a gift card to some random coffee place. If you own a coffee shop, then by all means, gift cards to your coffee shop, totally good. But not to something that goes to someone else, because unfortunately, people just don't remember. So you want something that's going to boomerang them back to you.
Yeah, quite often. In fact, what's really fun as a side note, when there's that glass bowl that they put your business card in for the drawing, I always put one of our books in there, and then they bring that big glass bowl up to the front of the room, and they go to pull the first card, and they always pull out our book because it's not a business card, and they go,
it's in the way.
Marketing checklist too. Hank, what? Now they always call my name. They don't think Sharon did it.
Well, you're the first.
Next book, your name's going to. That's how it works. So you want to have a call to action at the end. Now, we have a couple of call to actions for you right away. We're going to give you one of our books. They're up on the screen now. Our email address is there. All you have to do is say, hey, I would like one of these books. We will send it to you.
Just tell us which title you want.
Yep. By the way, don't ask for the new one, the marketing checklist for your guide for overwhelmed and overthinking entrepreneurs, available on Amazon October 6th, because it is not available yet. I mean, you could go to Amazon and pre-order it for 99 cents if you wanted to, I guess, but
would it count?
Yeah, it would count. And if you honestly, if you didn't send us the screenshot to info@ulofcreative, I'd probably send you like all of our other books. just because I was really happy and I'm excited that it just went up. So that's a freebie from us today. Also, we're doing our Small Business Breakthrough Bootcamp virtually this month, the 23rd and the 29th. If you'd like to come, write down planyourmarketing.com. All the information is there. Let's get back to step number 3. Body language is important. If you were watching Victor present before us, you saw him standing, looking into his camera, making great eye contact, filled his box awesomely. Quite often, when we are in person, I will see these 3 folks. In fact, all 3 of these are friends. I took all 3 of these photos the same morning at a networking event. I was so happy. We don't put our hands in our pockets. We don't lean on a chair. And for goodness sakes, do not cross your feet. It shows a lack of self-worth, oddly enough.
And professionalism.
Yep. Now, if you're on Zoom, which of these 3 Zoom boxes attracts you the most? Is it person number 1 on the right who woke up 5 minutes before the event? The middle person who just decided not to close the shades in her office and put on sunglasses instead? Or is it our friend Kay Suthar, who ran the podcast Uncensored Society podcast? She's changed the name recently, and she always shows up impeccably. How you show up in the box makes a big difference.
It does indeed.
The 4th step, you only get 52 words. Look, the preamble of the United States Constitution is only 52 words, and I figure if the country that I love can be described in 52 words, I think any of us can do that with our business. Now, here's the kicker: 52 words plus your call to action, and that generally equals 30 seconds, which is about the amount of time that you get. I love the math of it. Now, if you don't think it's possible, let me show you how it works.
Since we only have 30 seconds, here's what we do for you and your sales and marketing in just 14 words.
Clarity,
Focus,
decisions,
marketing,
messaging,
urgency,
consistency,
revenue,
proven,
results,
guarantee.
you,
Us.
now.
Our coaching group is your marketing easy button to effectively share your sales message with prospects so they know you care. See how our system works? Go to how to get there faster for your free Get Focused Success Call. Look at that, 30 seconds, 50 words. Go ahead and count them. Plus the call to action. All right, let's talk about a couple of easy speech models, the templates. We're going to give you the template, and here they are. The first is the simple one. They say, just take a second, or you're in line at the store, or you're in line at some Chamber of Commerce mixer trying to get to the shrimp, and there's that person that's there, and you strike up a chat, and they say, oh, I haven't seen you here before. What do you do? All right. 2 sentences. The first starts with, you know how, or can you picture, or have you ever? Now, you can also switch picture. What's the word you like to use?
Imagine. Can you imagine?
Yes.
That's also a good one to trigger their subconscious.
And the second sentence is, well, where you give the result. So here's how that template works. You get through 2 sentences, usually about 30 words. Can you picture rapidly increasing your sales, but lack a plan to make your marketing better? Well, I'm a marketing tour guide. The briefest way that gives them an image, a picture in their head that makes them say, oh, really? Tell me more. Oh, how so? If they say nothing, you didn't waste a whole lot of time and you got to the shrimp. If they are tuned into radio station WIIFM, in other words, what's in it for me? And they hear, whoa, I kind of need that. Well, how does that work? Is usually what you'll hear. And that's your permission to say more. So really simple, 2 sentences, about 30 words. If you ramble on, it's not going to work.
You'll lose your audience.
Yep. Another way of doing this, by the way, is that you can represent yourself visually. Props are awesome. You probably already noticed I pulled out one book already. Oh, this is another book. Partners in Everything. If you happen to be a partner in your business, that's a really wonderful one. If you are doing something visual, awesome. Feel free to show it all the time. I had a friend He runs an IT company, and he calls himself the computer doctor, and he always shows up in a white coat with stethoscope and
the medicine bag.
And the medicine bag as well. So it's okay to use prompts.
Good use prompts.
The second one, this is the longer one. They say you get 30 seconds. Also 2 sentences. Well, it's 3 because then you have your call to action. So here's your template. You know how many, then struggle with. Well, what I do is so that. Now, what do you fill that in with? Glad you asked. You know how many, and you put in your ideal type of client. We're trying to get you away from saying anybody or everybody. You know how many small business women, you know how many business women about 50 years old struggle with being seen in the office? Well, what I do is coach them to, and then application. I just made that one up. That just came to me. I had no idea where I was going with that.
Does the next slide have the example though?
Probably does. I don't think I pulled it up. There you go. So here's a couple of examples that talk about us. So there it is. You know how many, and you put in and if you have more than one ideal client, that's fine and all, but pick one at a time. For example, you know how many business women? Well, I heard what you said, but can you work with men too?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, of course you can. And you explain how it works. So if you can niche down.
You do have to make some assumptions about your audience, who are you talking to, who's in the room, if it's a bigger room as opposed to one-on-one. So make some assumptions and niche that client for them. The other tip for you on this one, as well as the other one, is you'll see it says, That's because we want you to be conversational. So it's not, do you know how many? Because then our brain starts trying to do math.
17.
Or we do yes or no. No, I don't know how many, and now I've tuned out because I don't know how many. So clearly I'm too stupid to work with you. So it's how many. You're just being conversational.
And you might even take out the word how. Many small business people. Many professionals. Many kids that are trying to get into school struggle with what however you want to do it. So there are 2. All right. Here's something we've never shared on a slide before. This is the very first time. I'm a little nervous how this slide is going to go. You have to tell us what makes you different. We do this every month for the Alignable social media platform. And we're amazed how many folks come in that do the same thing. And they all could do each other's elevator pitch. So every financial planner says, I make financial plans that make you retire, blah, blah, blah. Every bookkeeper. Tell us what sets you apart. What made you go into what you're doing?
Tell us your story. So we call this elevator pitch, and you've heard Hank say a few times elevator pitch because those are the terms that you're familiar with. You know what an elevator pitch is. But really nobody, probably including you, likes to be pitched to. So we actually teach you to do your elevator story. We all want to hear your story. We're all intrigued by your story. So part of what makes you different is your story. Tell us your story as part of your elevator story.
All right. Remember.
I want to get a club meal.
That's great.
I want to get half chow mein, half fried rice.
Right.
Would somebody mute him, please? Thank you so very much. I know we inspire people to eat lunch, but that's okay. So this unicorn is there to remind you, just like Sharon said, there is no perfect pitch. You just want to become a better pitcher, a better storyteller. And today you've learned how to make your elevator pitch more effective. So what's next? Well, got a question for you. If you learned something new, if you had a breakthrough today, well done. Our goal is we want to give you a chance to do this. We're going to take a couple of people out of the audience. Instantly, people turn off their camera. It's always fun to watch that. If you want some help doing this, we're around. How to get there faster.com puts you into our calendar. It is not a sales call. You can put your credit card away. We have zero ability to take a credit card on a phone call. Can't possibly happen. It is not a sales pitch. It's only us helping you. That's what we want to do. Again, if you want to come to our boot camp this month, there are 2 dates there. In a day, you have your entire marketing path. We'll teach a little bit about elevator pitch, but how to expand that to all of the other things you need to do. And that's at planyourmarketing.com. All right. You've now learned to do this. It's now your turn. The elevator has dinged. It is time for your pitch. If you would like to give us a shot in the time we have remaining, raise your hand and we'll hear yours. Brian's muted. I don't see anyone that wants to take a shot at it. Really, you have a chance to go through everybody and tell your story during our time? Oh my gosh, I would be the first one with my hand up. I always want to take advantage of someone else's speaking time.
So Hank and Sharon, thank you. Actually, we don't have any more time for questions or for you to put someone on the spot and do an elevator pitch with.
Then
Sorry
we're
about that.
all good. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks a lot, Brian.
All right, thank you. So it's now my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr. Norma Hollis, and she is a pioneer in speaking and coaching, in the speaking and coaching industries, and she is an authenticity advocate. Dr. Norma Hollis, a pioneer in the speaking industry, holds the distinction of being the first Black woman to own a speaker bureau dedicated to Black speakers. Her groundbreaking work not only empowered Black speakers, but also facilitated their booking, fostering the growth of numerous talents. Today, Dr. Norma Hollis continues her pioneering journey as a coach in the authenticity-focused coaching industry. Her expertise guides speakers to be genuine on stage and harness the power of authenticity as an integral part of their platform. With a legacy of breaking barriers and promoting authenticity, Dr. Hollis remains a driving force in the world of speaking and coaching. All righty, so Dr. Norma, it's now your time, and we welcome you to the virtual stage.
Well, thank you very much, Brian. It's good to be here. I see some friends on there and some new faces, so welcome to all of you. It's great to be here and great to have a chance to share with you. I'm going to take some hints from Hank and Sharon and tell you, you know how many speakers struggle with being their true selves on stage? Well, that's what I do, is I help you be your true authentic self when you are on stage so that you can be comfortable and share what you know best. So I'm going to talk about authenticity, and I kind of here on the planet to deal with authenticity. And it really became clear for me when I owned my bureau. And so when I owned the bureau, I had the bureau for about 14 years and worked with speakers all over the United States as well as some other countries. It was quite an experience, particularly since I came from being in a nonprofit, directing Head Start programs, to trying to run a business. What a challenge and what a change that was. But I learned a lot of things. But one of the things that I learned is that the speakers who seem to be the most successful, who seem to be the most impactful, who seemed to have the most fun, were the ones who were authentic on stage. They weren't pulling any punches. They weren't trying to do somebody else's work. They were being very clear with what was theirs to do, what was theirs to share. They came across very comfortable. They came across easy to listen to, easy to follow. They came across very natural. They had their passion was showing clearly. People flocked to them at the end, and you could kind of feel them. So I did a lot of time exploring, so what makes the difference? What makes the difference of a speaker on stage who has that natural piece, who can just flow, who can make a mistake and they're not even fazed, and the audience is not fazed. The audience will laugh with them when they make a mistake, as opposed to criticizing them or having any others. And I learned that it had a lot to do with authenticity. Now, authenticity is something that I've actually studied for 30 years. I started when I was 28 years old and realized I had done everything my parents had said to do. I had the husband, we had great cars, house, jobs, all the wonderful things, and I was miserable because I followed the path that someone else set for me and not my own personal path. And by 28, I didn't know what my path was. All I knew is I was unhappy and I needed to do something different. So I kind of dropped out of life and decided to figure out, well, who the heck am I anyway? I didn't know it was going to take 30 years, but it did. But the good part of that is the things that I learned when I finished my research. I owned my bureau, and that was a time when internet had just gotten started, and I was fortunate enough to have people all around the United States who were following me. And I reached out to them and asked them to host me in their city. I went to 20 cities in 18 months, shared with them my authenticity process for speakers, and found that they just gravitated for it. And many of them are still part of my community after 25 years, are still part of my community, and they're doing their own thing with authenticity. So I know I have something when I share with you about authenticity. So I'm going to tell you today some of the tips that I've learned about what it means to be authentic and what you can do as a speaker to be more authentic on stage, to be more comfortable, to be your true self. I'm going to use as my backdrop my authenticity grid, which is a result of my 30 years of research, and tell you how I relate it to speakers. I relate it to multiple things, which I'll tell you about towards the end, but I want to now focus on you as speakers. So what I learned at 28 is that I have three voices within me. I have an inner voice that no one hears but me. And I have an outer voice, that is how people perceive me. You walk in a room, people make an immediate impression about who you are and what you're about. And I have an expressive voice, which is who I have become in the world and how I live my life day to day. So when I went around the United States about 20 years ago and shared this information, I was sharing it to understand if what I had found out, what I had discovered was relevant to other people, and also to find out how it impacted with speakers. And the results that I got is that, yes, the way I saw myself, everybody else saw themselves the same way. Maybe they hadn't been introduced to this perspective, but once they did, I found their lives changing. I found them gaining more confidence as they became more authentic. They became more confident and had more courage to go out there and be the speaker that they wanted to be. So that's what I'm going to share with you first. At first, it starts with your inner voice. You know, the message that you share as a speaker is that message that's knocking on the inside of you, trying to come out. It's probably been knocking all of your life, and you probably have been following it in one way or another. But many of us got sidetracked because we found out we have to make money in this world. And the people who were raising us told us, we'll make better money if you do this or do that. Don't go do what your passion is. Go do this because it's real. It's going to make the money next. In my generation, it was computers are coming out. Today's young people, artificial intelligence is coming out. Get a job in that. That's where the money is. Well, that may be true, but is that where your passion is? Is that where your heart is? Is that where your experiences are? What I learned is that the most appropriate speakers talk about the things that are their passion, number one, and then also that involve their expertise and or their experience. When you put together that combination of passion, experience, and expertise, you can't lose as long as you're doing it authentic for you. So your inner voice is your clue for how you should listen to you and how you should decide what it is you want to speak about. What is it that keeps showing up in your life? What is it that is you just love or you can't stand? Those are the things that come from the true passion that lives within you. And those are the things that are important for you to follow. Now, that involves how you listen, it involves your values, and it involves how you inspire yourself and inspire others. When you're on stage, you always want to be inspiring. And I always refer to inspiration versus motivation. When I had my bureau, everybody wanted to be the next best motivational speaker. And motivation is the outside coming in. Inspiration is the inside coming out. As a speaker, you want to be the inspiring one that comes from your inside to take it out to others so that they're then inspired to do something. And that comes best when you are authentic about it. Next, I'm going to talk about the outer voice. The outer voice is really what I was told by the seniors in the industry when I started my bureau. They said to me, Norma, if you don't talk about health or relationships or money, you're not going to make any money because that's all people care about. I had already done my grid at the time and I did not have the correlation. But when I thought about it, I said, you know, that's true because society will have you believe that nothing matters except healthcare payments, money to spend with other people, and making money, as much money as you can, as fast as you can. There's not as much society focused on your inner voice, but we know that's the source of everything. That's the source of who you are. That's the source of your success. That's the source of your message. And when you combine it with your outer voice, then you come across more effectively. You can always weave health and wellness and well-being. You can weave relationships and you can weave net wealth. Now, when I say net wealth with authenticity, I mean abundance. I don't just mean money. Money is important, but joy and abundance are more important. And as speakers, many of you know that because you'll go on stage for joy and abundance before you'll go for money sometimes because you want to share your message. That's what it means to be a speaker. That's why it's knocking from the inside, trying to get out, because it's the message you came to the world with. It's the message you've lived. It's the message you want to share because you don't want others to go through the same crap you had to go through to learn it. And it all comes together. Now, I've most recently learned that the outer voice also relates to self-care. Because as speakers, we do a lot for other people before we do for ourselves. And we do a lot to make a difference in the world before making a difference in our own lives sometimes. And that focus sometimes is to our detriment. So it's important as a speaker to take care of your well-being, to take care of your relationships and take care of your own joy and abundance and your money to make sure that it's all flowing. Because if it's not flowing right, your authenticity suffers, because then your focus is more on getting those things right than it is on being your authentic self and sharing your authentic message. So it just reverberates the need for authenticity as a speaker, because your comfort on stage, your comfort with your message comes from your authenticity and from your ability to listen to yourself and to follow your own voice and follow what's important for you. And then we go to the expressive voice. The expressive voice is who you have become and how you share your gifts with the world. The first dimension of the expressive voice is legacy. Now, legacy is not what you leave for your heirs, it's what was put into you and what you bring to the world. It's the gifts and talents that you share. One speaker who many of you know, Willie Jolly, when he started speaking, he was also writing jingles. So Willie Jolly brought his jingles to the stage. I write poetry. When I speak a lot, I share my poetry. I can run into a poem in a drop of a hat because I have many phrases, if it's just a one stanza of a poem or a long poem. What do you have? What do you bring to the stage that's unique to you? What makes you different than everybody else? Hank and Sharon talked about your differences. Part of your differences are your gifts and talents. What is it you've done a long time? Do you sing? Do you dance? Do you have a certain kind of rhythm? A certain way you speak another language? What do you have that's unique to you? And how can you bring that to the stage to entertain people and to make things delightful and to make you unique in your presentations? I remember when I first did this work, I was at an NSA conference and I was giving my authenticity assessment to people. And I had a gentleman I did the assessment to. And when I have an assessment, you score yourself on a score of 0 to 10 in each of those 9 dimensions that are part of my grid. And when we got to likability, he scored himself a 1. And I said, well, let me just make sure you understand likability. Likability is about other people and how you get along with them and your ability to build rapport and how your personality comes out. He says, yeah, I don't like people. I said, what? How can you be a speaker and not like people? That is not authentic. One thing about speaking is it will reveal your inauthenticities. And that disconnect shows up on stage. So it's important that you have all of you, your whole self on stage, not just pieces and not the broken pieces. If you bring broken pieces, that's fine, but allow yourself to let the stage heal you and don't be afraid to be vulnerable. When my husband was murdered 8 years ago, I didn't talk about it for about 6 months. But then, and the first time I talked about it, of course, I cried a little bit. But every time I talked about it, I healed some more. I healed more and more and more. Because when you talk, speaking is also about healing. You heal your pains, you heal your traumas when you talk about them. That's why you go to friends. That's why you go to coaches. That's why you go to your mother or your spouse or someone else to talk about your challenges. Do the same thing for yourself on stage and help others do the same thing. Be your real self with all the challenges, with all the pains and all the joys. People like real. That's why they have so many reality shows. So don't be afraid of your shortcomings. Don't be afraid of your vulnerabilities. Don't be afraid to cry on stage. Sometimes your own healing heals other people. And I could see that happening as I was healing when I cried talking about my husband. I could see other people touching their own sensitivities and healing, and then the thank you that they gave me afterwards. You have no idea the power you have just by being authentic. You help others do the same. And then the last dimension is lifestyle. And that does deal with your day-to-day habits. And what we recommend to people is that if you really want to be more authentic, Just find one thing to tweak in your life. Do it for 30 to 90 days and see how it works for you and see how that changes your life. Just tweak. Life and transformation is a series of tweaks. No one transforms in one fell swoop. I'll wake up tomorrow and be altogether different, be the person I've been wanting to be and trying to be for the last 20 years, and one day I'm making the change. It doesn't happen that way. People will tell you, well, just be authentic, as if you can wake up tomorrow and be altogether different. It's a series of small tweaks, one small tweak at a time. Don't be afraid to make a small tweak because it can have massive change for you, massive change in your own authenticity. So I want to ask you now if there's any questions I can answer for you with regard to authenticity. I've been working on this for 30, 40 years, actually. I have a number of people that I have trained when I went around the country 20 years ago and met people who were speakers and interested in authenticity. I began to start training people. I now have a number of people that I've certified as authenticity speakers and coaches and facilitators. And I'm really delighted about how this has grown, because as I followed my authenticity, followed my voice, it has led me to create a whole program, a whole system, a whole organization now that we're now taking it into corporate America. We're going into now universities. I'm getting a lot of university contacts and corporate contacts where I'm certifying people to deliver the entire authenticity process as a speaker, as a coach, as a facilitator. And for those of you who are speakers who are really good on stage, but maybe you need more product or you need more content, I have product you can sell and I have content I can share with you. And if anyone would like to have some coaching sessions or learn about authenticity, I invite you to schedule a call with me by going to meetwithnorma.com. That's not M-E-A-T, M-E-E-T, meetwithnorma.com. And I'd be happy to have a conversation. I do coach speakers in a number of ways. I'm responsible for a number of speakers and turning their careers and turning their speaking into career success. I have one lady, Coach Peggy, who has started her, she came to me a number of years ago, wanting to be a speaker, very shy. And now she's my lead trainer in my organization. She started her own company, Living from the Wheel. And she has this great idea that I'm helping her to build out, where she is talking about, now she's already trademarked this and got the domain name, so you can't take it, but she's turned girl into G-I-R-L, means goddess in real life for girls. Isn't that wonderful? That's just a wonderful thing. So we're helping her to build that out. And that's what I do now, help people to build out their speaking careers in a very authentic way. So are there any questions? I have 3 minutes left to answer any questions or tell you anything else you'd like to ask about authenticity or whatever I can share. This is my normally 3-day event that I did in 20 minutes. So.
Wow, Norma, it's good to see you again. It's been a while since I've heard you speak.
It is good to see you, Dr. Parker. Yes.
Thank you. You know, it's really amazing what you just said, because recently I started sharing stories that I read, and I find that people were really interested in hearing that. Before I talked about a lot of different things, but the engagement and the response has been so much more positive. And I always held back because I thought nobody would be interested. So thank you for the reminder of being true to yourself.
My pleasure. It makes a difference. And see the big difference you saw just by that little change. And all of you will see that change when you do that. Just be you. Sometimes it's scary to be you, but that's the best thing. When I did my survey about 3 years ago, the number one fear that people had, fear, frustration, and challenge, was to share their authentic voice because they're afraid what people might say. But as a speaker, when you have the mic or the stage, you can say whatever you want to do. So test it, try it. When you have your smaller audiences, be brave, be courageous, try something different. Don't be scared. I mean, they scared. Don't be scared. Just go do your thing. Don't be afraid. And you may be surprised. You may have a whole new opening that you've never considered before. That's just waiting for you to fulfill it. If you're wondering why you're not being as successful, and even with all the work that I've done, I did a presentation this last Saturday. I did something totally new that was a little courageous, and they loved it. I even got invited to speak at their big stage in the next month. So it's saying to me, yes, I need to do more of this myself. I practice what I preach myself. Because sometimes when you're doing something a long time, you kind of get stagnant in it. You just do it and it becomes routine. When you find yourself getting routine on autopilot, it's time to make a change and step into your authenticity. That means your authenticity has elevated, it's changed, and keep up with yourself. So thank you so much for the time to share with you. This is a fabulous experience. And in a short time, I hope you got some information. If you'd like to talk to me, meetwithnorma.com. Thanks so much, Brian.
Thanks, Dr. Norma.
My pleasure.
All right. And now as I switch over, I've lost my notes. Oh, there we go. So our final speaker is Evangeline Kane. And Evangeline is a women's empowerment coach dedicated to helping women transform pain into power. Nominated and highly respected by esteemed book scouts, including the New York Times, US Review of Books, Pacific Book Review, and the Moving Book Awards. Evangeline's passion lies in creating speeches and materials that guide women on the journey to self-love and empowerment. So, Evangeline, the time is yours.
Hi, Brian. How are you?
Oh, I'm great. Yes, things are good.
That's good. Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here with all of you. I loved everybody's speeches, all very different, but all very impactful. I am a writer, a nominated writer, women's empowerment coach, and I take women on a journey through meditations and energy work. A little bit about myself and why I come to this work. When I was a younger girl, 17, 18 and older, I found myself having a lot of relationship problems. And I would go to my mother, as that was my only example really in life. And she would constantly tell me that if I don't like the situation that I'm in, then she suggests that I leave. But in myself, I knew that leaving wasn't necessarily the answer for me because we had a family together. And so I found myself going to school, Edler, Coaching Academy, to become a coach, to find answers as to how I can be in a more fulfilling and loving relationship, because growing up, I didn't find in my atmosphere that there was a lot of really healthy relationships. There was a lot of relationships, but they weren't healthy. I grew up in the projects, and a lot of the kids there all had mothers, you know, that were always in bingo or just always too busy for the kids. And most of us didn't have dads. I met my dad maybe 3 times in my life. So it wasn't a situation where I could go to my dad and ask him for guidance on what it looks like to be an empowered man, what it looks like to be a good father. I could only go off the examples that I saw. But a lot of the examples that I saw led me down a path of, how would I say it? A path of ancestral traumas and things that didn't necessarily take me where I wanted to be, or give me the relationship that I wanted, or the family that I needed. And while my mother was always telling me, you know, I can't give you the advice you need, and if the relationship you're in isn't good for you, then I suggest that you leave. And knowing that inside myself, I didn't want to leave. I actually wanted to find a way to communicate with him in a way that would bring us closer. I wanted to be able to grow with him opposed to growing apart. I wanted to have that not picture perfect life or relationship, but one that felt really good to me, because our body is our signal. It always lets us know when something isn't right or something doesn't feel good. And inside myself, I knew that something just didn't feel close in my relationship. Part of that was inherited things from myself. For example, when I was a young girl, I remember at 12 years old, I woke up in the middle of the night and I heard my mother crying. And so I went to the bathroom and I knocked on the door to see if she was okay. And her response to me was, "He's drunk. He's going to be asleep soon. So go to bed. You have school in the morning." Realized that later in life, with my relationships, every time I was emotional, or if my grandmother died or something was happening in my life, I resorted to going into the bathroom and crying. I remember clear as day, one time, something had happened in my life and I was in the bathroom crying. And at the time, you know, my kid's father had walked in the bathroom and I basically slammed his whole body in the door, doing everything in my power for him not to see me, because growing up, this is what I saw my mother do. And so I felt at that time that we inherited so many conditionings that just keep us stuck in toxic spin cycles that we just can't evolve as a culture. And so I went to school to be a coach, to put all of my expertise that I've learned in school and my experiences in life and what I've learned. And one thing I learned from that experience is it's really hard to break out of cycles that we are in if we don't find a way out. For me, when I was younger and I was in school, they never taught me how to love myself. They never taught me how to feel empowered. They never taught me how to communicate in a relationship. They never taught me that a woman's existence is more than just cooking and cleaning and being a mother, that she can be all of those things and more. And so as I continuously evolve, I continuously upgrade who I am, who I'm becoming. I am the founder of Queen's Mansion Academy. It is a school that empowers women. I empower them through real life situations that I went through, have been going through, and my expertise in school, and really help them find their self-love and their self-worth. I am an author of this book, Unfold Your Petals. I am a nominated writer because I write stories. I'm more of a storyteller than a speaker, but I write stories that are compelling. I take several different goddesses in my books, and I translate their story to women today. For example, Goddess Hera was in love with a man, and he continuously sought after other women. And so within her story, to those who can relate, and there's several of them, we find healing and we find our worth and the answers and the blocks that have been in us that we have not been able to see for quite a very long time, because we can't change what we don't know is happening within us. And so that is what I do. And I've been doing it for 7 years. I've been telling stories and speaking in several different places, just empowering women to find their passion, their love, and to listen to their bodies. My personal slogan is to help women turn their pain into power and to find their self-love, whatever that is, without shame, without guilt, without feeling like they have to change any parts of themselves, coming to terms with, certain situations that are playing out in their life. And it's a constant resurface of pain for them, and figuring out where that pain comes from and why it's so triggering, and allowing them to see that all of their pain can be turned into something more beautiful and more powerful, and they can have whatever life they want or choose. My school also doesn't focus on teaching women to be a better woman for a man. It teaches them how to be a better woman for them, and allowing all of the goodness of her radiance and her beauty to shine out in every area in her life. And I focus a lot on just empowering women through meditations. And with that being said, I will do a little meditation for you guys today. And I hope that it helps you feel more peaceful, more grounded, more loving within yourself. And let's go. So you can close your eyes and think of something that makes you feel really happy. Something that makes you feel really good. And I want you to breathe in all of the goodness and breathe out any situations that bring you heartache and pain. Breathe in all good situations. Whatever comes to your mind is okay. Just breathe all of that in. And I want you to push away any situations that are hurting you today or any day. Just allow it to fade away. And hold your heart and connect with yourself on a deep level, knowing that in this moment, it is all about you. What do you need? What do you want? How do you want to feel? And how do you get yourself to the place? And repeat. I am worthy. I am deserving of amazing things. The universe loves me just as I am. And I have so much to offer. I am amazing just as I am. And everything I want, I shall receive. And anything I don't like about me, I shall change to meet my own expectations, not someone else's. And I walk with the Lord engraved in my heart, bringing love and peace and acceptance to all. For we are not here to judge. We are here to uplift others and love ourselves in the process. Any part of ourselves that we are not accepting today, just throw it to the wind. And we ask for the courage to stand up and be exactly as we are in this moment with love and grace. And so it is. Thank you very much, everyone.
Does anyone have any questions? Questions, comments, jokes?
Well, I really appreciate what she shared as a woman who grew up in a single parent home. I know that struggle. And so I appreciate your healing journey, your authenticity. And I sent you a thing on LinkedIn so that we can hook up or connect later.
I would love that. Yeah, that's the first time I ever really told that story, but it's okay. Because that was what brought me to my wanting to be a coach, because I have a daughter myself who's 27 and a son who's 24. And I really wanted to show her more than what I was seeing, because I was realizing that a lot of the things that she was seeing from me was playing out for her, and it just kept us in ancestral things that neither one of us wanted to be in, but we didn't know how to get out. So it's a lot of healing work. And of course, a lot of coaching. When I was coaching other people in school, I was able to, it mirrored back to me so many things about myself that hurt me, so many things that I had to change, so many things that I wanted. And as I forget her name, the doctor woman, I forget the name, but as she was saying, when we are talking about things, we heal ourselves. And that's how I kind of come up with the structure of what I was building, because I was like, when I'm helping her, it's helping me. So. And I look forward to talking to you as well. I think everybody did a really great job today. And the Speakers Association is very inviting, very nice. Have nothing but loving experiences. I think I spoke here before, like 4 or 5 years ago. It's been a while for me. But the energy is still very good, and each and every person did absolutely amazing. I just wanted to say that as well.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, if there were no other questions or anything, we'll wrap this up. This has been great. I want to thank all of our speakers. We couldn't do this without them, of course. So thanks to Tracy, Manasseh, Victor, Sharon, and Hank, and Norma, Dr. Norma, and Evangeline. All right. And our next virtual summit will be Thursday, October 12th. So watch for our emails, and hope to see you all in a month or so.